Hello? How about now? It got disconnected for some reason. Sorry about that. I think you can hear me. Okay. Yeah, for some reason, Streamlabs disconnected my microphone. So, whatevs, I guess. Hello, everyone, and welcome to... Hold on, let me get this chat box a little bit. How do I just lengthen it? Gosh darn it. Anyway, the reason that it took so long for me to sort of get to a bunch of stuff today was because I was adding some commands to the Streamlabs, like, auto thing. So, like, if anyone comes into the stream, you know how we do the hats when, for the Levels of the Hype train. If anyone comes in and they don't know what's going on, they're like, why are they wearing so many hats? You can just do a command that's hats. And that explains it. That way you don't have to explain why I'm wearing so many hats every single time. I also set the auto mod to, like, every once in a while remind people to go to my YouTube and to, like, tip if they like the show, just because that way I don't have to constantly be talking about it and doing it manually. There's not a Hot Pocket command, although that would be nice if a Hot Pocket could, like, come out of the, like, computer. Can you put the commands in your About area on the Twitch page? Yeah, I could work on that another time, sure. Butternips. So yeah, that should hopefully make things a little more streamlined, so every 10 minutes or every other video I don't have to be like, oh, and check out my YouTube channel, because AutoMod will just do it automatically. Or at least it should, hopefully. Every, like, 10-15 minutes or so. So, yeah. Hope you're all doing well today. Let me fix this a little bit, the chat box. It's kind of weird. I need it to go longer. Properties.
That's right, capitalistic propaganda.
Thank you, Rat Tat Attack, for following. Welcome to the stream. I just gotta make it... How do I do this? It's not like I had time all day to do this shit. Might as well do it on stream and waste all of your time. I'm doing an awesome job. Sorry, genuinely, I am. Chatbox.
There's nothing funny about the tools.
Oh, Arenas 3 with 250 bits. Hi, Hannah. Saw the stream from the other day. Your hair that Baja did was so cute. Please help me stay awake and fix my bike. I'll do my best. I will do my best. But, you know. Let me see if I can change this height to 1,000 and see what it does. Is that too high? No. Seems okay. Alright. Hopefully that'll work. Anyway. So welcome everyone. Today we're going to be doing, like I said, although I don't remember if I said it without the thing being muted, Sovereign Citizen Saturday. Today we're going to be looking at something that is Sovereign Citizen, but it's a specific sort of sect of Sovereign Citizens, and those are Moorish Citizens. Now, if you don't know what a Moorish Citizen is, don't worry, we'll go over it. But for all intents and purposes, you can assume that they basically believe most of the things Sovereign Citizens believe, but for slightly different reasons. So, your typical Sovereign Citizen, especially your, how do I put this, white Sovereign Citizen, tends to believe that the government has no authority over them for reasons of, like, contracts, and, like, they think they can renounce their citizenship, or that the government has no authority over them, or all sorts of different reasons. Now, Moorish citizens, which are... Not all black sovereign citizens are Moorish citizens, but all Moorish citizens are black. Does that make sense? It's specific, and we're going to read an article from the Southern Poverty Law Center about it, because it's quite interesting. Oh, thank you. I just painted my nails. I'm doing better with the, how do I put this, with not biting my nails, and with the help of some of this nail polish. It's just that hollow taco nail polish. It's pretty good. I did get a little bit on me while I was touching them up earlier, and I didn't clean it up yet, but... Yeah, they're very sparkly and purple, and I like them a lot. Migu R says, got a quick question. So does the census actually do anything? The U.S. government is pretty shit at actually funding things, and this feels more like they're doing it because it's something they've been doing for a while. Well, first of all, it's constitutionally required for the government to do a census. And the census does... How do I put this? The census goes into deciding how many... Oh, boy. Like the House of Representatives, for instance. That's dependent on a state's population. And the amount of citizens you have depends upon how many representatives that state has. Okay? So the census helps determine how many representatives each state should have. On top of that, it also helps with, like, deciding where funding should be going for certain things. It's just good for interesting demographic information, so you can get, like, statistics that reflect, you know, whatever the demographics of the community is. Like, there are things that it's for. It's a good thing that the census happens. All, like, societies throughout human history have done censuses for one reason or another. Your stream is lagging. How about anyone else? Is it fine for everyone else, or is it across the board lag? No, other people are good? Okay. Just seems to be the one person then. Anyway, so let's read this Southern Poverty Law Center article on Moorish Citizens so we can get a overarching understanding of where they're coming from as opposed to other sovereign citizens. I was going to say normal sovereign citizens, but no sovereign citizens are normal. But there's like a baseline sovereign citizen, and then Moorish citizens believe a lot of the same stuff, but for different reasons. So let's take a look at this. Moorish sovereign citizens. The Moorish sovereign citizen movement is a collection of independent organizations and lone individuals that emerged in the early 90s as an offshoot of the anti-government sovereign citizen movement, which believes that individual citizens hold sovereignty over and are independent of the authority of the federal and state governments. Members of the Moorish citizens, called Moors, have come into conflict with federal and state authorities over their refusal to obey laws and government regulations. Recently, Moorish citizens have engaged in violent confrontations with law enforcement. They've also been known to retaliate against government authorities through financial means, a process called, quote, paper terrorism. Moorish sovereigns espouse an interpretation of sovereign doctrine that African Americans constitute an elite class within American society with special rights and privileges that convey on them a sovereign immunity, placing them beyond federal and state authority. Now, some of these include... hold on, I gotta refresh my... where is that? Pop out chat. So some sovereign citizens, and this is going to depend, there's some overlap with this and the... Black Israelite movement. I don't know if you've heard of that. Certain people have this conspiracy theory that secretly, all along, Africans or African Americans are secretly the descendants of the Hebrews from the Bible and not, you know, the people that we would consider Jewish ethnically. This is something some weird celebrities have espoused. Of course, there's no evidence for this. It's kind of like when Mormons claimed that Native Americans were secretly Hebrews. Like, it's just a thing. It's just people wanting to claim that they're Hebrews, right? Is that the Moormish thing? You mean Mormon? That's a Mormon thing. Mormons believe that Native Americans were Hebrew, or at least some of them. In its own words. Quote, your straw... oh god, we're doing the straw man thing. Quote, your straw man is a non-living, non-breathing, fictitious corporate entity that has the same name as you, except in all capital letters. It's ultimately a trust that is brought into existence with your signature. Lawfully, you are the executor, beneficiary, administrator, and the stockholder of the United States Corporation. Moorish American Resource School. They, of course, have, you know, websites and stuff. Here's their Facebook page. Moorish American Resource School. And they're selling products. All that kind of stuff. Bad information. They also like fezzes, which, hey, I get that. Who doesn't like a cool hat? I get that one. Quote, political thieves, usually descendants of European colonists, operate upon the American continents, have by outright criminality taken unlawful leave and advantage of the usurped seats of government, and have polluted the sanctity of their official oaths to uphold the Constitution and treaties, and are unlawfully violating the natural people. That's Taj Tariq Bey saying that. Next one is, everything that will be stated is based on the de jure law, which seems redundant. De jure kind of means like under the law, so you're kind of saying law under the law, and not just Admiralty Maritime, oh god, de facto legalities such as statutes, code, rules, regulations, ordinances, policies, etc. Any color of law that contradicts the Constitution for the United States of America is null and void and has no withstanding. And of course the sick means that's like a direct quote, even though it doesn't really make sense. Quote, you are not to pay taxes to foreigners who are doing business within the borders of your ancestral estate. And that's where we get into the people who believe that, oh boy, this is complicated. So there are some Moorish citizens that believe that the true Native Americans are African American. Does that make sense? They believe that there was a country within what is now the United States called Morocco, which is a different entity than the Morocco that is over in, like, Africa, right? And they believe that this Morocco is where black people from the United States are actually from, and not that they have been stolen from Africa during the slave trade, during chattel slavery. So pretty fucked up. And they also believe that this basically gives them the right to not follow the law of the United States government. Now, putting aside, of course, the fact that all of that's untrue, Morocco was not a country in the United States, and they get some of this from a treaty that was signed with Morocco and the 13 colonies. And I think it was a treaty dealing with actual maritime piracy and stuff, that they were going to, like, help each other out, because there was piracy along trade routes that affected both of them. But for some reason, certain Moorish citizens have taken this to mean that Morocco was not only a country across the sea, but it was somewhere domestically within the United States, and that secretly that's where people who are descended from people from Africa today, they aren't descended from people from Africa. They believe that they're descended from native black people from America. Of course, all of this is ridiculous and isn't true. They believe that basically history as we understand it is a lie. Not really. But even aside all of that, the thing is, even if all of that was true, which again, let me reiterate for the 50th time, it is not, it wouldn't change the fact that you are still under the jurisdiction of the United States government today. It wouldn't change a single thing. So, kind of ridiculous. Anyway. Origins. The origin of the Moorish citizen movement are difficult to ascertain and often misunderstood. According to law enforcement sources, Moorish sovereign citizens are loosely affiliated with the Moorish Science Temple of America and trace their roots to the creation of the MSTA in 1913 and its founder, Noble Drew Ali, aka Timothy Drew. Some Moorish sovereigns are known to affiliate with the MSTA, but certainly not all MSTA chapters are linked with the sovereign citizens. In fact, the MSTA issued a statement in July 2011 condemning sovereign citizen practices and denying any association with radical or subversive Moorish citizen groups. Further, according to Mark Pitcavage, a leading expert in the sovereign citizen movement, quote, Moorish sovereign citizens emerged in the mid-1990s on the East Coast when some people began to merge sovereign citizen ideas with some of the beliefs of Moorish Science Temple, a religious sect dating back to 1913. In his article, The Washita Nation and Moorish Sovereign Citizens, Pitcavage writes, quote, after the Empress, e.g. Verdian C. Turner Gostin retired, the original Washita group fell apart, replaced with a variety of different groups and individuals taking up the Washita Nation mantle. So today there is not just one Washita Nation, but many, making it one of the most important wings of the Moorish sovereign citizen movement, he says. The Washita Nation appears to be the earliest sovereign citizen group that began merging Moorish identity and heritage with sovereign citizen concepts. In her book, Return of the Ancient Ones, published in 1993, Verdian C. Turner Gostin, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing her name, Empress of Washita Nation asserts that Moors were among the earliest settlers to America and the rightful owners of all lands ceded to the United States in the Louisiana Purchase. Clint D. Nelson Bay writes in the book's preface, quote, "The book begs you to start asking questions and do your own personal research regarding your Moorish history, and then allow your mind to connect the two." End quote. And there's another quote. "You can't fool a Washita as we, the original Moors of," oh god, I'm gonna butcher this, but here we go. Dugda Mundayaya, Bugda Moundya, Bugda Moundya. Like the girl in Thor 2 trying to say Mjolnir. Meow meow. Gostin writes on page 202, quote, "We must realize who we are and why we are doing this, and how we have been preserved for what special purpose," end quote. Gostin later writes on page 203, quote, "My people were here when the white man came to this African continent. They were the Murs, in later years called the Moors, from the land of Tadmor." Other examples of Moorish sovereign citizen groups include the Free Moorish Nation, the United Mawshank Nation of Nurs, the Nubian Nation of Moors, and the Al-Moroccan Empire. These groups primarily operated through the southeastern, northeastern, and midwestern United States. So what do they think Native Americans are? That's a good question. I have no idea. Hopefully this article will mention it. It also sucks because they're erasing their West African heritage and West African cultures are cool. Yeah. It's sad all around. Because, like, oh yeah, black people have been treated like absolute garbage by the United States, as have actual Native Americans. Pretty much anyone who isn't like a white Protestant dude. Treated like trash by the United States for most of its history. But, like, coming up with conspiracy theories about it isn't helping the situation, right? What you want to do is accept history as it is, and accept that you've been mistreated and why you've been mistreated, because it was mostly a racial issue, and then trying to come up with ways in the present to alleviate the problems stemming from said issues, right? So we do have systematic racism in this country. We have issues, you know, with policing and housing and employment and all sorts of stuff that are echoes of, like, Jim Crow and chattel slavery and all sorts of things. But coming up with some made-up story about how you're the real Native Americans isn't going to help your situation at all. In particular, the Nubian Nation of Moors likely played a key role in spreading Moorish sovereign citizen ideology to other parts of American cities. In her book, The Nubian Nation, Black Spirituality and State Control, Susan Palmer writes, "In mid-June 99, several Montana freemen came to the town Eatonton, Georgia. One of them introduced himself to the, oh god, why did I pick this when all the names are so hard for me to pronounce? Nubians as a common law judge. He moved into Tamaree to work with them." Excuse me. So, when the Nubian group's compound in Eatonton, Georgia, was raided by federal, state, and local enforcement officials on May 8, 2002, and essentially shut down, many Nubian Nation members who were now knowledgeable of sovereign citizen tradecraft were displaced and fled to other areas of the country, bringing with them Moorish sovereign ideology, which is very interesting that this, like, ideology and group basically was all part of one almost cult-like center, and then when the FBI came and raided them, they moved all over the country and ended up spreading the belief to other people. It's interesting. I'd imagine there's some sort of interesting, like, case study that could be done on, like, cult beliefs and how they spread when members of the cult leave and go to different places. Moorish sovereign citizens espouse an anti-government doctrine in which its members claim to be part of a sovereign nation. For some who identify themselves as Moorish, or something similar, there is a belief that a 1787 treaty, fictitious, between the United States and Morocco grants them immunity from U.S. law. Others, such as the Washita Nation, may falsely claim to occupy United Nations Indigenous Peoples Seat 215 there's no such thing, and create their own birth certificates, passports, driver's licenses, and vehicle registrations. Moorish sovereigns believe their status as members of a sovereign nation imparts immunity from federal, state, and local authorities. They use this perceived immunity to justify refusing to pay taxes, buy auto insurance, register their vehicles, and to defraud banks and other lending institutions. Many Moorish sovereigns also profit by selling bogus registration, licensing, and insurance documents on websites promoting Moorish sovereign beliefs and doctrines. In several instances, this belief in immunity from legal authority has led some Moorish sovereigns to initiate violent confrontations with law enforcement. So basically, some of these people believe that they can operate similar to how some tribes do on reservations, where they can do sort of their own, because, on tribal land, the little of it that there is, you can have certain laws and stuff that are somewhat different from the United States because their territory is considered their own, right, due to treaties and stuff that were signed. And of course, those have been chipped away at over time, and that's a whole other story for a different day. But more or less, if you are on a reservation, it is possible that in some places you can get a driver's license from the government or the whatever of the reservation that might be recognized by the states. But arbitrarily, Moorish citizens believe that they can do the same, claim themselves to be indigenous peoples, and then have those same rules applied to themselves and say that they are a sovereign, part of a sovereign nation within the United States, a Moorish nation, and then issue their own legal documents, which they do not have the right to do. Moorish sovereign citizens often play an emblem that consists of scarlet-red rectangular banner or flag with a 5-pointed green star located just left of center. In Moorish legal filings, Moorish sovereign citizens refer to themselves with a series of Africanized names that incorporate the words Bey or El, or a combination of the two. Moorish sovereign citizen movement has no The Moorish sovereign citizen movement has no unified leadership. Most operate as individuals and get information about Moorish sovereignty online or from paid seminars taught by sovereign gurus. In contrast, Moorish sovereign citizen groups generally are small, consisting of a dozen followers, many of whom are nominally led by one or two charismatic individuals who profit from the promotion of Moorish doctrines and the preparation and sale of bogus legal documents to those embracing their Moorish nationality or heritage. So cults, basically. There are some places around the country with little tiny sovereign citizen cults. Moorish citizen cults, rather. There are no reliable figures available on the number of active Moorish sovereigns. A recent survey of Moorish sovereigns-related social media sites consistently indicated about 3,000 to 4,000 followers. Furthermore, an official website for submitting petitions to Congress featured a Moorish American sovereignty petition, which had over 6,200 petitioners. Self-declared Moorish sovereigns have also been arrested in all regions of the country and many major cities within the United States. Moorish sovereign citizens have loose ties with the MSTA, which has caused confusion among the media and law enforcement who mistakenly link both groups together. Moorish sovereign citizens have also been known to affiliate with other black nationalist groups as well, with criminal organizations. Moors have participated in rallies, conferences, and other events with the groups such as the Blood Street Gang, the Latin King Street Gang, the New Black Panther Party. I don't necessarily have a problem with the Black Panthers. The Nation of Islam and Black Hebrew Israelites. There's a connection to the Black Hebrew Israelites, which we talked about earlier. According to law enforcement sources, areas of common interest between black nationalists and Moorish sovereigns include their African American heritage, assertions of entitlement to certain geopolitical areas, targeting of police and other government officials, violent reaction to incidents of perceived police brutality, and engaging in crimes of opportunity. NLID says, reservations are pretty tricky. There are 3 around where I live, Red Lake, Leech Lake, and White Earth. Law enforcement jurisdiction differs, but they still work together. The same is true for courts. With the emergency of rehab, drug courts, there's starting to be more cooperation. Yeah, that about makes sense. The new Black Panthers are bad? Okay. I didn't know much about them. I only know about the old Black Panthers and how they got shit on by the police. Oh, are they literally black nationalists the same way that certain white nationalist groups are white nationalists? I didn't know that. Gotcha. That sucks that they took the name then. What a bummer. Emergence, not emergency. Gotcha. Since emerging in the early 90s, Moorish sovereigns have no known involvement in paramilitary training and activities. They do, however, conduct training seminars and videotaped classes that teach financial scams and frauds common to sovereign groups. Members also have been known to wear paramilitary-style uniforms with patches of the Moorish flag, and to operate vehicles modified to resemble police patrol cars, equipped with a police insignia on the door panels and light bar. Hylian Derp says, the specific, quote, New Black Panther Party is terrorist. There are other forms that aren't shitty. Okay, good. That sucks that they took the name, though, because that's a rad-ass name. The old members fought to take the name back, but they lost? That sucks. Any, like, ethno-nationalist group, not good. Not a fan. Eccleston says, when I was growing up, I was taught the Black Panthers were a black supremacist group. The originals weren't. The originals were not. Moorish sovereigns sustain themselves by selling bogus legal documents, fraudulent auto insurance forms, fake license plates, counterfeit passports, and various other documents. They also save money by practicing tax avoidance schemes or tax fraud. They have perpetrated large-scale financial fraud, including creating false money orders, fraudulent cashier's checks, and bogus financial instruments. In some areas, their fraudulent activity is part of a larger sovereign practice called the redemption doctrine. Excuse me. It declares that Moors, like all sovereigns, can incorporate themselves, thereby allowing individuals to use themselves as personal assets worth tens of millions of dollars. I think that's in reference to the sort of redeeming the straw man thing that they used to, or not that they used to, that sovereign citizens believe they can do. They believe that basically there's a paper identity that is you, that has an account with the IRS worth millions of dollars, and if you do certain things, you can, like, gain access to that account. All fiction. Moorish sovereigns have recently engaged in violent actions such as shootings, bank robberies, murders, and armed confrontations with law enforcement. A few Moorish sovereigns have also been reported to possess illegal firearms as well as fraudulent concealed weapons permits. Overall, Moorish sovereigns have not shown widespread interest in deploying explosive or incendiary devices. Even so, a small number of Moorish sovereign citizens pursued more violent paths and participated in terrorist plots. In 1993, the only American-born suspect connected with the plot targeting New York City landmarks, Clement Rodney Hampton L., including the successful bombing of the World Trade Center, espoused Moorish ideology. Also, some members of the Liberty City 7 terror cell in Miami, Florida, adhered to Moorish ideology. Federal, state, and local law enforcement have encountered Moorish sovereigns committing a wide range of minor or white-collar criminal activity, including traffic violations, house squatting, tax fraud, financial scams, and violations of government regulations. Of further concern, Moorish sovereigns have recently engaged in violent retaliation against police, court officers, and other civil authorities beyond the mere filing of false liens against them and other forms of harassment. Some Moorish sovereign citizens also have been known to target their own for financial scams and other criminal activity. Criminal activity and violence. Like most sovereign citizen groups, Moorish sovereign ideology breeds anti-government, anti-law enforcement sentiments through its radical ideology, which can inspire members to intimidate, threaten, harass government officials and law enforcement officers. Moorish sovereigns are also known to produce fraudulent legal documents which they use against perceived enemies, especially publicly elected officials they view as corrupt. Several recent incidents highlight Moorish sovereigns' propensity for violence and criminal activity. On September 11, 2017, Marcel A. Walton, a self-proclaimed Grand Sheik of a Moorish temple in Chicago, was sentenced to nearly 6 years in federal prison for causing the IRS to issue more than $3.2 million in fraudulent tax returns. Walton filed similarly fraudulent returns for 17 other people on the false pretense that temple members were entitled to remuneration from the United States government for its purported use of Moorish lands. So they also claim, like, the United States is using land that once belonged to my ancestors, therefore we're going to charge you for using it, even though they have no evidence that the land that they're talking about was ever owned by their ancestors, right? These aren't Native Americans that have some sort of moral case, and I'm saying moral, not legal, because that's a complicated issue, and I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to step in there. But you could argue that someone who is of Native American descent has the moral case that, hey, this land was taken from my people. I would like some compensation for that. Okay? Again, not touching the legal. But someone who claims to be a Moorish citizen, someone who was claiming that their ancestors were indigenous to the land prior to, like, white people, which is how they're framing it, not me. No, you don't have a case for that, because there's no evidence that that is how things were. On the 9th of January, 2017, Markeith D. Lloyd, a Moorish sovereign, shot an Orlando police officer multiple times when she confronted him outside a Walmart near the Pine Hills neighborhood in Florida. After shooting the Orlando officer, Lloyd fled the scene in his vehicle and ran over an Orange County Sheriff's deputy attempting to stop him. On July 17, 2016, Gavin Eugene Long, an alleged member of the Washita Nation, ambushed 6 police officers, killing 3 with an assault rifle in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. On April 5th, 2016, an improvised explosive device detonated at a residence in Columbus, Ohio. Alfonso D. Mobley Jr., a Moorish sovereign citizen, lost both hands in the explosion. Oof. Mobley and Roberto M. Innes Jr., who was not injured, were each charged with possession and manufacture of an explosive device, which they reportedly intended to use during a bank robbery. A bomb during a bank robbery. That's a shitty thing to use. Like, hey, I don't think bank robbery is a good thing to do in general. What a shock, I know. But if you're gonna do it, bombs are such a fucked up thing to use, right? It's funny because my D&D character really, really likes bombs. Which is funny because the character's like, you know, they're chaotic good. They believe that you can use bombs for good, even though I don't really think that's the case in real life. But, like, bombs are so indiscriminate in their destruction, really not cool. Yeah, don't use bombs for your bank robbery. If you're gonna rob a bank, which I don't recommend, it's against the law, and you're gonna get caught. Much less maybe the moral implications, although you could argue, oh, it's all insured via the FDIC, blah, 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 whatever. Don't care. It's illegal, you're gonna get caught, don't do it. Not worth it. There also isn't a lot of cash in banks, typically. Most banks' cash nowadays is not liquid. They'll have some in the drawers, but you'll probably get away with like $1,000 to $5,000 tops, and I'm talking 5 on a good day in a bank that has a lot of walk-in traffic, so they have a lot in the drawers. Like, maybe you'll get away with that, but most likely you'll get like 10 to 15 years in prison, and it's just not worth it. And more if you're using guns, and especially more if you're using a fucking bomb. Do not try and rob a bank. If you're gonna... Nope, I'm not gonna say this. That might be TOS. There are better places to rob in terms of liquid cash if you want to. Banks are not the way to go. Cleanse for later. Thank you.
Hello.
On October 29th, 2015, Deontay Lanier, accused of first-degree murder in the 2012 death of Johnny P.A., declared himself a Moorish national, stating that the judge had no authority over him. So, that's an overview of Moorish citizens. Now we're going to watch some videos about them. They're very similar to sovereign citizens, but the arguments have a slightly different bent, you know? It has to do with them believing that they're sovereign specifically because of their ethnicity being tied to a supposed nationality that they believe in that doesn't really exist. Weebish Swed, thank you for following. Welcome to the stream.
Here we go.
Here we go indeed. Ugh.
How's it going, sir?
Good. License, registration, insurance, please.
What's the emergency, sir?
There's, you don't have a plate on the back of your car.
Oh, I have a plate. It's a private plate.
It's a private plate?
Yeah.
Out of what state?
What you mean, what state?
What state's it?
Moorish nation state? Is there an emergency?
There's no such thing as a Moorish nation state.
I stopped you because there's a plate.
There's a plate on the back of my car.
Okay. You have your license, registration, insurance on you?
I don't have commercial. I don't contract with the DMV. What is the emergency?
You don't have a driver's license?
Why would I have a driver's license? That's for commercial entities only.
No, it's not. I've talked about this during the other sovereign citizen videos. Driver's licenses are not just for commercial purposes. You can have specific driver's licenses for commercial purposes, but most people just have standard driver's licenses for driving private vehicles. If you want to drive your vehicle with no driver's license and no license plate, if you have a big farmland property that's all your property, you can do it as much as you want. You can get hammered and do donuts in your yard as long as you're not endangering other people. But you cannot go on private roads unlicensed, with no license plate, with no insurance. These are all things that the state has and can and do require to operate on public roads. And the Supreme Court has time and time again said, yep, the state has the right to make you do these things if you're operating on public roadways. It's the public roadways thing that I don't think these guys get. It's like they think the roads are just there, and like they don't think about where they come from or whatever, you know what I mean? The roads didn't just appear one day. They aren't this magical, like, natural occurrence. They're a thing that the government spends time and money making with your tax dollars. And as the governmental entity that has created these roads, that owns these roads, they can dictate who can drive on them for basically whatever reason they want, as long as it's not, like, discriminatory against people of a certain race or gender or whatever. The Supreme Court has said, hey, as long as you have a standard, you can make a test that people have to take to be able to drive on these roads. And that's fine. That's a good thing. Even with these tests, we have enough bad drivers on the road. I don't want people who don't even take the test to be able to be on them. Dude Spanking Dudes with a Bit says, is it racist for me to get worried every time I see a black or non-white person that is being sovereign citizen pulled over by the police, since the police have been shown to be racist shitheads? No, I don't think that's racist. I think that's recognizing that our policing system in the United States has a racial bias. That's not you being racist, it's you recognizing the racism of others.
Okay, what's your name?
What's the emergency, sir?
What's your name?
What's the emergency? Do you have ID on you?
I do.
So you have your surety bond on you? Card? Saying the district you operate of? Surety bond number? And the insurance holder?
What's your name, sir?
Thanks, Daddy Sume.
Do you have ID on you? I'm just wondering why you stopping me in my travels. I'm just on my
Because you don't have a license plate, or insurance, or a license.
way to my uncle's house. That's all I'm doing.
Okay, what's your name?
What do you need to know my appellation for? I don't have a name.
I don't have a name.
I have a title.
That's an interesting claim. I don't think I've heard that one before from your common sovereign citizen. I don't have a name. I only go by pronouns. People on the right are going to be so triggered. I only have pronouns. I don't have a name.
Well, I'll tell you what.
And they're all they, them pronouns. Ben Shapiro's head explodes.
I'm wondering are you trying to harm me or anything? Like, did I injure someone, sir?
I'm just trying to find out who you are. You don't have a plate on the back of your car.
Do you have a Fourth Amendment warrant? Because you're asking me for my private property.
You don't need a warrant to search someone. How do I put this? No. You need consent to search someone's vehicle, or you need probable cause. That's why cops will get away with saying things like, I smell marijuana, right? That's probable cause. Even if they're lying about it, the thing they're lying about is having probable cause. Excuse me. So cops can ask for your ID and your insurance and all the things they typically ask for during a traffic stop, because that's stuff that is needed in an investigation of some sort of traffic incident or traffic stop. These are all common things. It's just a thing to make sure that you're insured and have the registration to the car and that you're licensed. These are reasonable things. Again, the Supreme Court has found that this is completely fine.
absent of a Fourth Amendment warrant signed by an Article 3 judge. That would be a competent judge. So I'm just wondering what's going on.
Do we own our license plates? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure your license plate, while you put it on your car, is a piece of technically state property. I think it's the same with your driver's license, which is why, like, I was reading a story a while back, sometime last week, where there was a woman who... She was an adult woman. She was like 23 or 24, and her crazy mom was calling her and being like, I need to borrow your car for like a week. My like neighbor needs to use it. And the daughter was like, what? No, it's my car. You can't have it. And the mom goes like, well, you're my daughter, and I'm gonna do what I want. And the daughter's like, no, you can't have the car. And the mom got all mad, and the conversation ended. The daughter comes home after being gone somewhere, and the car's gone. The mom's taken the car. She calls... the mom's like, well, you're my daughter, and I'm not going to give you the car back until you start behaving. Again, bear in mind, this woman is like in her 20s and lives on her own. She does not even live with her parents, not that it would matter. She owns the car. Her name is the only one on the title. So, of course, the woman calls in the car missing and tells the cops, hey, my mom stole the car. The cops show up at the mom's house. The mom's like, well, she's my daughter. Blah, 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 blah. I can do what I want to punish my daughter. And the cop's like, no, you can't. She's an adult. She lives on her own. This isn't your car. You have no right to take this. And then, basically, at some point, again, the daughter's there. She comes up to the door. For some reason, I don't remember why in the interaction, the officer asks for the daughter's driver's license just to show, like, yeah, she's licensed to drive and this is her car and this is her ID. And the cop is holding the daughter's ID, and the mom snatches it and slams the door shut. And while the door's shut, she destroys the license by cutting it and opens the door and, like, throws it. And she's like, there, now you can't drive at all. And the cops arrested her not only for stealing the car, but destruction of state property, because your driver's license, at least in that state, I don't know if this is dependent from state to state, but, she destroyed the driver's license, which wasn't destroying her daughter's property. It was destroying state property. So, I don't know. Yeah, that is some narcissistic parent bullshit. I don't know. Some of these people are gosh darn psychos.
Because I didn't harm no one, traveling.
Okay. Well, you're traveling without a plate on the back of the car. That's why I stopped you.
What is a plate, sir?
What is a plate? The thing you put on the back of your car that's state issued, and it has the numbers and letters on them. It's basically a code that they can put into their computer system that identifies the car and who owns it. If it's up to date in terms of, like, registration. It's a pretty general understanding. I think you know.
Like, what type of plate? What are you referencing? A plate? You keep saying a plate. I don't have a plate. I don't understand. What's a plate?
A license plate.
License plate for
Yes.
commercial vehicles? A license plate? A license is a permission? I'm just wondering what's the problem. Like, I didn't harm anyone, did I?
In the state of Pennsylvania, if you get stopped by a
State
police
of
officer,
Pennsylvania
yes,
is a corporation. It's not.
It's not a corporation. It's a state.
it's actually a commonwealth. If you wanna
Which
get
is a
technical.
which is a corporation on
So-
paper. This land right here is would be Morocco, the Maghreb. The state of Pennsylvania is foreign to that, which is juristic. I'm just trying to figure out what is the issue.
Again, claiming that they're, like, from Morocco. Again, this does not mean the actual Morocco that exists. Spelled that wrong. Morocco. Country located in the Maghreb region of North Africa. It overlooks the Mediterranean Sea in the north and the Atlantic Ocean to the west, with land borders with Algeria to the east and western Sahara. Here it is. There's a picture. That's where Morocco is. And again, like I mentioned, one of the first treaties that the 13 colonies signed, I don't remember if it was pre or post revolution or post Declaration of Independence. I want to say it was post, but I could be wrong. One of the first treaties that the United States signed as an entity together was with Morocco, because as you can see, I think we all took middle school history or civics or whatever. You understand the triangular trade system, the slave trade, and there was sort of a trade between North America, West Africa for slaves, and then to sort of the Caribbean and stuff, where other crops were farmed by slaves, and then that went to America, blah, 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 blah. Triangular trade. You get it. And also there was trade with, like, South America and stuff, too. Anyway, there was a treaty that was signed between the United States, as it existed at the time, and Morocco, and this treaty had to do with basically helping each other police the waters, because piracy was a big thing at the time. Of course it was. You know, so much of the world's trade was going by sea. It still does today. We still have piracy problems in some areas, but at the time, I would argue it was probably worse, so they signed a treaty together saying, like, hey, we recognize each other as nation states, we're gonna help each other doing this is how we're gonna interact with each other in our missions to try and, like, reduce piracy along these trade routes. Anyway, Moorish citizens take this treaty for some reason. I still don't have a clear answer. Maybe we'll figure it out at some point today. If not, we'll figure it out at some point. For some reason, they take this treaty to mean that actually, secretly, the United States had Morocco in it the whole time. I'm thinking of that copy pasta, or that creepy pasta where someone's like, the call is coming from inside the house. The Morocco is coming from inside the country. So they have a complete misunderstanding of a lot of things, including what Morocco is.
Issue.
Well, here's the thing.
I
got all night.
Okay.
So,
I
until I find out who you are.
I do have identification on me.
Okay, I would like that, please.
You were like, it's right here, my wallet.
Okay.
All right. This is under threat, duress, coercion, because I don't want to have any problem. I don't want you to have a problem. I didn't.
Look, and I get that these people say this, not only Moorish citizens, but sovereign citizens. This is under threat of whatever. Like, yeah, that's what interacting with the cops is. I don't know what to tell you. If you don't do what they say, there's an implicit threat of violence, whether it be physical violence or by taking away your freedom, by putting you in jail. That's how the law works. There's always an implicit threat of violence involved in the law. That's just kind of how it works. I don't even know what a good explanation is. It would be like someone getting into a pool and I'd be like, I just want to say this water, it is making me wet. Like, yeah, we all know. You don't have to say it. Like, that's how it works. I mean, you could disagree with it and be mad about it, but, like, it's kind of how it is. It wouldn't really be the law if it wasn't backed up by some threat of force or incarceration.
You have registration and insurance on this vehicle?
No.
You don't?
Why would I have registration and insurance?
Because it's legally required.
Legally? You can
drive.
I'm not driving, sir. I'm traveling. Driving is for commercial purposes only. You can read
He said the thing! We gotta get a traveling emote.
the highlighted part.
So you don't have insurance on this vehicle?
Insurance.
Yes.
Look, that's private.
To travel on any roadway in Pennsylvania, you need insurance.
Ooh, the cops coming back at him with the traveling. Yeah, you can travel on foot all you want. I use this example all the time. If you want to Forrest Gump it, run your way from the East Coast to the West Coast and back. No one can stop you as long as you don't commit any crimes along the way. But if you want to do that in a car on public roadways, you need to follow the law. That's how it works. Your right to travel, as outlined, and often, I even think the right to travel was more outlined in, like, the Articles of Confederation than it was in the Constitution. I think the Articles of Confederation specifically say, like, you have the right to travel between the states unimpeded. Almost like a version of what the EU has, where you can have free movement between the countries. Because remember, at the time, the United States was more or less considered a confederation of individual states, more than it was considered a nation in and of itself made up of states, right? The way that we view the United States today is a little bit different than people viewed it back in the day. It was more viewed as something like we might view the EU today. Like, the EU has powers, I don't know if federally would be the right word, but, like, the EU has powers over the states that are part of the EU. But the states operate more or less autonomously. It's just that they have agreements how to, you know, move people from place to place within them. They have the right to free movement. They have the same currency, all that kind of stuff. That's kind of how the United States started and continued to be. It's just that encroaching federal powers over time, especially after the Civil War, turned the United States from sort of these United States, as in these are states that are united together into a country, to the United States. We're the United States, and you happen to live within a state in the United States. Does that make sense? It's kind of hard to explain because it's not like a hard line thing. You can look at a document and go, this is when the United States went from this to that. It's just that over time our perspective on the United States as citizens of it has shifted.
Okay, that's fine. Pennsylvania, what do you you keep giving me all of these. I don't understand. What is the emergency? Who did I harm?
It's complicated, but I'm okay.
Like, I don't understand why are you trying to harm me, sir?
You're right.
Yeah, I got another unit.
Are you trying to harm me, sir?
No.
Okay.
You have insurance on the vehicle?
Do I have insurance on the vehicle? Why does that even matter?
Because to travel
Under what
on the roadway,
under what law?
you need insurance.
Under what law?
And if you don't have insurance, you're not.
Let's see, shall we? I think he said Pennsylvania is where they are. Pennsylvania. Law requiring driver's licenses. Woo, that's a lot of typos. Pennsylvania is very strict about driving without a license, and it is forbidden. Section 1501. Drivers required to be licensed. Getting this traffic ticket is different than driving under suspicion ticket, which has different rules that regulate the penalty and possible Pennsylvania license suspension. If you're facing a license suspension for driving without a driver's license, give License Restoration Services a call or send us an email. And here's the part from the law. General rule. No person except those expressly exempted shall drive any motor vehicle, not commercial, not private, any motor vehicle. Of course, they believe that the term drive somehow means driving for commercial purposes when it does not.
Anything but inspect this temple
They're
of
basing that off their understanding of... They're doing that based on their understanding of more or less the Black's Law Dictionary edition from the 1930s, I think, which of course is out of date at this point, and even then they're misreading the law. Upon any highway, public property in the Commonwealth, thank you, Pseudosapien, for raiding. Go check out Pseudosapien. I actually haven't. Pseudosapien, do you do like art streams? Because I know you do cool arts. Do you do art streams and stuff? If so, let me check out your channel. How do I go to your page? That's not what I wanted. The Pseudosapien. Yeah, does some gaming stuff. Here, everyone check out the Pseudosapien's Twitch channel. Give her a follow. Thanks so much for rating. I appreciate it. Anyway, continuing. Driver's license under the provisions of this chapter is used in this subsection. The term public property includes but is not limited to driveways and parking lots owned or leased by the Commonwealth, a political subdivision or agency, or instrumentality of either. Penalty. Any person violating subsection A of this is guilty of a summary offense and shall, upon conviction, be sentenced to pay a fine of $200, except that if the person charged furnishes satisfactory proof of having held a driver's license valid on the last day of the preceding driver's license period, and no more than 1 year has elapsed from the last date for renewal. Excuse me. The fine shall be $25. No, oh, that's not bad, actually, in Pennsylvania. Basically, if your driver's license is expired, but you're still within a year, only a $25 fine, and you gotta renew your license. That's pretty good. That's pretty good in terms of leniency. No person charged with violating subsections A or B shall be convicted if the person produces at the office of issuing authority within 15 days of the violation a driver's license valid in this Commonwealth at the time or in violation of, or if the driver's license is lost, stolen, destroyed, or ineligible, evidence that the driver was licensed at the time of the violation. So there you go. There's the law that says you need a driver's license. Oops, wrong one.
Can be able to drive this vehicle away from here.
Do I have insurance on it? But the vehicle is definitely insured.
By who?
What you mean by who?
By who? What insurance company?
I can mail it in if you want.
Oh no, I would like it right now.
Well, I don't have it on me right now, but I will definitely mail it in to you.
No.
I've already dealt with this before. Can you call the sheriff then? Because I don't want to get harmed. Y'all, I don't want to get harassed or anything. I'm just traveling, got off work. I'm not doing anything, you know, I don't want to cause any problems here.
All right, just sit tight for me, all right? What's going on, sir?
Doing fine. Just trying to figure out what the emergency is. Gave the guy my identification card.
What's that?
I gave the guy my identification card.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was just asking him what's the emergency. I don't see, I'm traveling on the highway. He's asking me for a license, and I understand, but I'm not conducting commercial activity.
You don't have to be conducting commercial
So
activity. When you are operating a
United
vehicle,
States
you are driving.
activity.
If you are driving on
Commercial
public roads, you
activity.
need a
Yeah, what is that?
license.
Definition to you.
I feel like a fucking
To
broken
me, by
record.
law, under
No, we're
United
not
States,
commercial activities.
under Title 28, under Title 18, United States Code 31. Used for commercial. You can read that if you want. Used for commercial purposes mean a fair fee
Shylock,
rate.
thanks for the 100 bits.
So if I was a Pizza Hut driver, I would need a license plate with a commercial driver's license because I will be conducting commercial purposes.
Honestly, if I was dealing with this person, I'd be like, you just said you were driving from work, so you were driving from your place of employment to home. Boom, commercial purpose. Suck it.
This is like a Uber driver, a taxi driver, UPS driver. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
I'm traveling. I don't want to cause no problems. I'm just trying to head home. Just got off work.
Where you work at, man?
Where I work?
Yeah.
The Hyatt.
The Hyatt?
Yep. Hyatt Regency. You know, I'm not trying to cause no problems. Just traveling on the road. You know.
They think about, and they just repeat it over and over. Like at some point, the cop will be like, "Oh, traveling, right? That's legal then. Have a good day." No matter how many times you use the word traveling, it's not going to make this click in their head because there's nothing to click. It's a fantasy. You are misreading the law. Stop breaking the law, asshole, as Jim Carrey once said.
Got you.
I gave him my identification card.
Where'd you get that identification card?
The Moorish nation state.
The what?
Moorish nation state.
Where's that at?
Morocco on this land.
Huh?
Here, America.
America.
Yes.
Who issued it to you?
North America. What do you
North
mean?
America issued?
North America issued it. You know, those North American driver's licenses that the federal government issues. The states issue driver's licenses.
Issued it to you?
No, what you mean who issued it to me?
How did you obtain that identification card?
What do you mean how do I obtain it?
He means where did you get it? He's trying to investigate who gave this to you and show you that it's not legal for some random person to sell you a driver's license. Driver's license.
I mean, is he calling the sheriff? Because I don't want to get injured or hurt just because I'm traveling in
You're
my
not
car.
in any danger of getting hurt or injured.
I just want to make sure.
I agree. He should turn his fucking blinker off. Or if that's like his emergency thing, you should turn it off. You're pulled over, the lights are on behind you, you're fine.
Man, it's a lot of cops for. It's a lot of policy enforcers for one.
You know, it's kind of quiet tonight. We're all here.
One issue. Yeah, I understand. You know, I'm not trying to cause no problems or nothing.
Are you a resident here in Pennsylvania?
No, I'm not a resident.
Not a resident.
No, sir.
You don't live anywhere.
In my body, I do live.
Live in your.
I live in my body. I mean, can't argue with you there. Where does that body reside, sir?
Body.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I mean, I'm not trying to be a smart ass.
Makes me think of that Tim Minchin song.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to make
I'm
sure that
curious.
we.
I just want to hear what you got to say.
This is my body, and I live in it. Anyone know Tim Minchin?
Just trying to make sure we don't have no problems. That's all I want to. Trying to get home peacefully.
Where is your home at?
Where's my home?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm going to my uncle's home.
Do you live here in Center?
My uncle?
Yeah.
My uncle, yeah, he stays down the street. My uncle does.
What are my politics? I'm leftist.
Okay.
I gotta go to this dentist appointment tomorrow.
Dentist appointment, what you got going on?
Tooth, man. But yeah, I'm just not trying to cause no trouble. There's a lot
Has
of.
anybody ever else stopped you before?
Yeah.
Happen all the time?
Nah. Most of the New Sewickley, they got behind me before and trailed me for a little bit, and then they went away.
Honestly, that's the interesting thing about this movement, the sovereign citizen thing, is if I'm a cop, I would never be a cop. But if I were a cop, and if I were a bastard, if I were a cop, and I see a guy in front of me with some bullshit sovereign citizen license plate or Moorish citizen license plate, am I really gonna be like, is this gonna be worth all the fucking paperwork? Is this gonna be worth me filling out the paperwork after I have to smash this guy's window? Because it's gotta be like a 30%, 40%, 50% chance you're gonna smash this dude's window because he refuses to, like, comply with the traffic stop, right? I would be like, oh, I got other shit to do tonight, right? I don't want to be sitting at my desk filling out tons of shit about, like, oh, the perp refused to give me his license. He continued, blah, 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 blah. Had to apply use of force. Like, no, I don't want to do that. Not worth it.
Got stopped in Carnegie and told the guy what I was telling you. And
how do I feel about trade policies, like free trade agreements?
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Oh boy, that's complicated. I think free trade agreements can be good, but if you have the free flow of capital, then in order to make sure that the markets don't favor capital, you need to then also have free movement of labor. Otherwise, you just wind up with nations like China that have what is effectively slave labor, if not in actual practice slave labor, what is effectively it. So, I don't know. That's kind of how I feel about it.
have a nice.
Daddy Sume with 10 bits. Yeah, but Hannah, so much of your job is paperwork. You would get used to it. Yeah, that's one of the many reasons I wouldn't be a cop. I don't want to fill out that much fucking paperwork.
Nice day. That's why I'm trying to make sure we don't have no problems or anything.
In terms of, like, trade, I think protectionist policies are a bad idea because it's basically stalling the inevitable. We are inevitably moving towards a globalized society, both economically and socially, and trying to hide in the past and try and act like it's 1950 and that you can get a manufacturing job and do whatever. It's not reasonable. So what you need to do is continue to push forward, and if you're going to have free trade agreements, which can be a good thing for people, then you also need to allow them to move around the globe and find labor markets that benefit that labor. That way you have people moving places with better labor markets, and it's going to sort of balance out those markets, right? That way capital doesn't have too many cards on the table.
You know, I didn't injure nobody, I didn't hurt nobody.
True. And forced labor camps like the Uyghurs in China are a form of slavery. True.
But I understand y'all understand, you know.
Yeah, you know how this goes.
Some people don't. Some people have a different understanding of things, you know what I'm saying? And I completely understand that. I just try and make sure I don't get.
Everybody's gonna have the same views.
Yeah, I'm not trying to. But that's United States code of law. That's your guys is the guys y'all operate out of, that y'all code of law. You know.
Mhm.
I'm not making nothing up. I'm not trying to.
I got you, man.
Be a hard ass or smart addict or nothing.
No, you haven't given me any attitude.
You know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure I'm secured in my property, and I'm not running stop signs or, oh no, man, you don't have to abide by the rules. Nah, I understand, definitely abide by,
Okay, but you don't, because you're not abiding by them. You said you think you don't have to have a license plate or insurance, and you do.
Vehicle code.
Yeah.
Motor vehicle?
Motor vehicle codes.
I don't fall under motor vehicle, do
Well,
I?
a stop sign is a motor vehicle code.
Well, that's due care to the public. I don't want to just be running stop signs, you know. It's not that I follow motor
That's what it
vehicle.
falls under.
Yeah, but it's...
Pennsylvania State Motor Vehicle Code.
Well, I don't want to get tangled up here, but what I'm saying is I owe due care to the public.
Mm-hmm.
So motor vehicle, I don't deal with motor vehicle because I don't have a motor vehicle.
What do you call this?
An automobile.
An automobile.
Right.
That's a motor vehicle. They're synonyms. They're synonyms.
A conveyance.
Why are you anti-immigration? I agree. That's not a very leftist policy.
Conveyance.
Yeah.
Oh God, are you a tanky? No, don't be a tanky, friendo. Not good.
I don't you know, I don't just be shoo, flying. Oh, you don't have to run stop signs because you don't have to pass stop. Nah, that's because if you hit somebody, then
Yeah, exactly.
you know, I just don't want no trouble from. I just don't want y'all. I don't want y'all to be trying to harm me just because
Nobody wants to harm you here.
I don't have no commercial driver's license. I don't even, you know, that's not the identification I use, because that's not. Now if I was a Pizza Hut driver, I probably, you know,
What do you do out there at the Hyatt?
engineer.
Engineer?
HVAC.
What's that?
HVAC.
What's that?
HVAC.
Yeah, what do
air
you do?
conditioner systems.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long you been doing that for?
A minute now.
That's what
3
Baja
years.
Blast's dad does for a living. Does
Like it?
HVAC stuff.
Yes. So settle.
All right, man. Hang tight. We'll be back
Is
up.
everything gonna be cool though? Like.
It's not my stop. I just want to come up and talk.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hey, sir. Do you have any other paperwork in the car with your physical name written on it?
No,
Like a piece of mail or registration,
no.
insurance
I don't.
card?
No. I
Nothing
wouldn't.
else?
Nah. I mean.
What about like an ID tab for the Hyatt? You got a name tag at the Hyatt?
Nah, I keep that in my locker there.
No, you don't got like a badge or anything that you wear there?
Nah, we don't. We're not. We don't have an airport badge because we're just attached to the airport. I don't go across TSA, so
Okay.
we just got a little name tag.
Okay, what's the name on your name tag say?
What? Sorry, now I'm just reacting to chat. Unskilled immigration does not lead to higher cost of living. Rent-seeking behavior of people who buy property to be landlords increases property. What? You think that someone illegally immigrating and then living in a really, really shitty apartment somewhere is raising the cost of... What are you talking about? Oh, no.
Malik Michael Khalif Bey. That's my job. The same appellation right here. That's what I go by at my job. That's what they call me. If you go to Hyatt.
What's your birth name? What was the name given to you at birth by your parents?
And no, immigration of low-skilled workers does not depress the income of low-skilled workers. What you should be blaming that on is capitalists who want to pay the bare minimum and who have broken up unions in this country.
Like on your written birth certificate?
On my written birth certificate.
Yeah.
I don't have a birth certificate.
What policies do you believe in that are left-leaning that you consider yourself center-left?
Everybody in the world has a birth certificate.
I don't have a birth certificate.
So you don't have a social security number attached to you either?
No.
Well, here's the deal, man. We can't find any record of you.
If you go to my job and you look on anniversaries, or if you want to call Allegheny County and be like, oh, can you check if there's a Malik there? And they can check, and it's gonna say, oh, happy week anniversary. We post everybody anniversaries on the wall. It's gonna say Malik Bey. That's exactly what it's gonna say on there. Sometimes they call me Michael.
Okay.
I tell them to call me Michael sometimes.
Who's William Taylor Real?
You support government services, welfare, and taxes.
You handed me this.
So just like a
Yeah, I was
reasonable,
just
that's
showing
not
you,
left. That's just wanting a
that's a senator,
functional
House of
government.
Representatives. And the guy there I guess he got
Although
into
in
an
fairness, with how
altercation,
far right the right has
and
gotten in
I
this
guess he
country, I
moved,
guess having a functional government
whoever
is
that
a
senator
left-leaning
is from the
position, I guess,
Commonwealth
at
of
this point,
Pennsylvania,
isn't it?
And she was telling the judge
Jesus.
of what was that's listed on that paper. So William Taylor Rail would be, I guess, a resident of PA. I don't know. That's what I found just in my private research. I do a lot of just researching and everything.
Whose car is this? Or automobile is this?
Whose automobile?
Yeah.
No, it would be mine.
Did you buy it?
What you mean, did I buy it?
Did you buy it from a dealership?
No.
How'd you get it?
What you mean, how'd I get it?
How did you come to be driving this vehicle in your possession?
I'm not driving the vehicle.
How is this vehicle in your possession? You agree you possess this vehicle right now?
I made a trail. I mean,
Huh?
I made a trade for it.
What does that mean?
A trade?
Yeah.
For lawful United States money, I made a trade.
You made a trade?
Yeah.
What'd you trade?
Federal Reserve notes in lieu of lawful United States money.
Okay, who did you make that trade to?
Some guy, I don't know his name.
Okay. Did you run his VIN?
Do I have a
No,
Discord? Yeah, hold on, let me get you a link. It's not just my Discord, it's when I share with another streamer because we do a YouTube channel together also. But here it is. There it is. Oh, there was already a Discord command. That'd do it.
Is there a problem? Like,
Can you move this piece of paper, please?
and what's the issue?
Who you are?
Well, can
who
you
this-
call this-
Who this car is registered to?
Can y'all call the sheriff? The car's not registered.
Oh, that's not a good thing to admit to the cops. They're gonna take your car. Daddy sue me with 10 bits. Fuck, stop being such a dick with your fake legal knowledge. Yeah?
Why would the car be registered? That's for commercial.
No, you legally need to have your car registered.
Yeah, with that, I'll see if I can find anything from the neighboring state.
Can y'all call the sheriff? Would that be fair? Cause I don't want to get. I'm not trying to get hurt, man. Tonight I'm just getting off work.
Besides running control.
I'm not sure. What do you want the sheriff for?
Cause he's the lawful officer. The sheriff,
Not in the state of Pennsylvania. He is not.
not in the state of
Not in the state
Pennsylvania.
of Pennsylvania.
So
The
who?
sheriff does not have investigation or arrest powers in the state of Pennsylvania, Mr. Beck.
Okay.
In neighboring states, in states that are in southern states and states that are more towards the California area, it is backwards, and a sheriff's deputy and the sheriff himself has much more power than they do here. But in the state of Pennsylvania,
I think a lot of states, the sheriff basically runs the jail and stuff. I don't know if... Let me see. Sheriff versus police. I'm pretty sure it has to do with the sheriffs running the local jail and the police are the investigatory body. What's the difference between a deputy sheriff and a police officer? The main difference between a deputy sheriff and a police officer is jurisdiction. A police officer is solely responsible for the prevention of crime within their city limits, whereas a deputy sheriff is responsible for an entire county, which would include multiple small towns and several larger cities, so it's also jurisdictional. No matter how you feel about law enforcement these days, let's face it, most of the time we try to follow the law, and we expect the people in our lives to follow the law too. The present importance of the law is why we need people in our society who make sure it's upheld. And in America, blah, 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 blah. The term cop or police officer can refer to a patrol officer, a correctional officer, or a sheriff's deputy. Patrol officers are men and women in the classic blue uniforms whose jobs include the pursuit and arrest of criminals, response to emergency and non-emergency calls, and enforcing motor vehicle and criminal laws. Patrol officers can also be appointed to a special unit, such as a motorcycle, Canine Corps, or SWAT team. The major difference between a patrol officer and a sheriff's deputy is the area of jurisdiction. Sheriff's deputies specifically operate within a county, and their responsibilities are quite similar to those of a patrol officer. Patrol officers usually work within the jurisdiction of a city or town, though they can also work for a state, county, hospital, college, transit district, or any other governmental organization that has the ability to create its own law enforcement branch. Let's move on to the role of sheriff. A sheriff is an elected official and is essentially the CEO of the sheriff's department. Most sheriffs operate under the county government. In fact, the only state without sheriffs is Alaska, which has no counties. The word sheriff is actually a portmanteau of shire reeve, which was the tax collector in medieval England. These days, some sheriffs are still the tax collectors for their counties, but sheriff responsibilities can vary greatly from state to state. In some states, their position is largely ceremonial and essentially just includes serving papers and providing security for the courts. In other states, the sheriff is also in charge of the county jail, which I think is the case in Michigan where I live, which is why I was thinking county jail. And most states look to the sheriff's office to provide general law enforcement services. Okay, gotcha. So it varies.
Commonwealth, the sheriff does not share the same powers that a police officer would share.
Oh,
He
okay.
would have less powers than a police officer.
I was just making sure because I don't want to get
I
harmed.
understand.
I'm not trying to cause a big ruckus tonight. I don't want to get harmed. My property stolen. I'm just traveling from work.
No one in this group that's standing here is going to harm you.
I just got to make sure, man, because
I
I
understand.
don't know who I harmed or why.
You have not, as far as we're concerned right now, you have not harmed any of us, and we are not going to harm you, cause any injury to you, or anything of that nature. We are not going to do
All
anything.
right, I just want to keep that grounded because I don't want my property stolen. I use this to get back and forth to work.
We don't want to take your property. We don't want to harm you. We don't want to do any of that to you. Just understand that we also have a job that we have to
Yes,
do.
I do understand that. I'm just trying to make sure we.
I understand you. And to operate
At least the cop
motor
is
vehicle,
patient
or
with
to
this
operate
idiot. That's good.
Any form of vehicle in the state of Pennsylvania.
I do
you have to
like
have
I do
registration.
like when the sovereign citizens and the Moorish citizens get a cop that has the patience to deal with them, because well, they are idiots, and yeah, this guy deserves citations and shit for driving without a license. Boy, some of these cops have absolutely no fucking patience for anyone. Like, I get that they're idiots, but being an idiot doesn't mean you deserve to have your fucking life fucked up,
Which you do not have.
The Supreme Court does not say that at all. That was from the House of Representatives. She said that.
But that also does not have your name on it, though, sir. That has a different name on it. If your name is Malik Bey, I believe it was Malik Bey, correct? Well, I don't remember your middle names that you had in between.
That
says Mr. William Real.
Yeah, that has nothing to do. They're talking about law. Period. They're talking about law. Period. Not Mr. Rail. Mr. Rail was just something that happened. I have come to my known. If you keep reading, this representative is talking about law for everybody. If you don't know the law, then that was up to you. An individual, she didn't say Mr. Rail, or he didn't say Mr. Rail. An individual who wishes to utilize an automobile or other means of conveyance in order to exercise his right to travel cannot lawfully be required to obtain a license to drive or to register his automobile in order to operate it freely on the roads.
And I'm not
trying to I'm just trying to make sure that
I'm pretty sure I've read this court decision before, and for one thing, it's not a Supreme Court decision, at least not a, United States Supreme Court decision. I'm pretty sure the one he's quoting from is a state Supreme Court decision, which of course only applies to that state. And not only that, but sovereign citizens will often misread this and say that it means they can't license me for anything, when in fact it actually says you can't arbitrarily hand out driver's licenses, because the case was about, this is before, this was a case from 1930, I believe. The case was about a county sheriff, because this was prior to states handling driver's licenses. It was being done on the county level. Thank you, Danzing Israelis, for following. So a county sheriff was arbitrarily deciding who in the county could have driver's licenses, and it was nepotism. So he was like, hey, you're my bud, you're my nephew, I'm gonna give you a driver's license. Oh, that guy's black and I'm racist. No, you can't have a driver's license. So the Supreme Court of that state basically said you can't do that. You can't arbitrarily hand out driver's licenses, which sovereign citizens will take that specific section and cherry pick and say, see, you can't arbitrarily decide who gets to drive on public roads, when you actually read the decision, it continues on to say, the state and county, however, can create a driving test that anyone can take, and as long as it's a universal standard and it's not like bias in favor of like a certain group of people, it doesn't involve this nepotism, that's lawful. That's fine. The state providing a test and deciding if you get a driver's license based on your driving ability, A-okay. Totally fine. The Supreme Court has found that. It's just you can't arbitrarily decide who gets a license.
I don't have the, and I'll be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you, okay?
That's right,
I cannot
propaganda.
dispute whoever the representative is.
Right.
Okay? So,
Narbocals,
as
thanks
far
for
as what we're
following.
going to do this evening, all right? If you cooperate with us, we'll cooperate with you, okay? And so far you are semi-cooperating with us. You're not, you're not harming us. We're not going to harm you. So this is what we're going to do.
So you're gonna try and steal my property
Now,
and demobilize me?
Did I say that I was gonna tow your car or steal your property?
No, sir.
Okay, so I'm gonna respect you if you respect me, and let me speak, and I'll let you speak. Okay. So what we're going to do this evening is you're traveling to a residence here in Center Township, correct?
Yes, down the road.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to do this evening is when we're finished conducted with our business, I'm not going to take your car. Okay. We're going to allow you to travel to your residence here in Center Township.
Right.
Okay. I'm not going to steal your property. I'm not going to take your car. Officer Chacon is going to issue the traffic citations for the violations that we feel that you're in violation of the law to. That we feel. Okay. You are more than welcome to plead not guilty to those and bring it to court with your paperwork and have the judge rule. If you beat us, then you beat us, and maybe we learn something that we don't really know. All right? But as far as what we're doing here, that's how we're going to do the paperwork for this, okay?
This is a reasonable way to handle someone like this. Because you're never going to convince them they're sitting in their car that they're wrong. They're wrong, but you're not going to be able to convince them, especially considering you're a cop, and they're not going to believe what you have to say. So you say to them, okay, we're going to give you tickets, and if you disagree, we'll go in front of a judge. Because at the very least, I feel like sovereign citizens and Moorish citizens, I think they believe things coming out of the mouth of a judge more so than they do a cop, right? Which I think is pretty universal. I'd trust a judge more than I would a cop, if that makes sense. Because at the very least, a judge has gone to, like, law school, and they're going to know what they're talking about in terms of the law. That's pretty much how you should do it. Here's your tickets. If you disagree, we'll be in court for you. There's your court date. One and done. There you go. Don't have to smash anybody's window.
And with your cooperation, we're not going to hassle you about towing your car, because legally, by the state of Pennsylvania, we can tow your vehicle. And I'm not going to hassle you. I'm not going to put you out like that because you said you're on your way home from work, right? I don't want to impede your ability to go to work or anything else like that. Understand?
Right, but
Okay.
I dealt with it. I got pulled over by a 4, and they understood, and they let me go.
I'm going to be honest, and I'll help you out. If you're traveling in your vehicle and you don't have a license plate on it, you're probably going to be stopped by a lot of people. Okay, and you're going to go through this a whole bunch. So I understand that you feel that you have your right to travel without.
You just got here. Why do they call themselves Moorish citizens? Oh boy, that's complicated. We went over that earlier in the stream, but basically they believe that secretly black people that are in the United States are not descended from either slaves or immigrants, but in fact the true Native Americans were secretly black, and that we've been lied to about history. And they believe that because of this, that the law does not apply to them, because they are citizens of the Moorish nation, not the United States. Which, of course, is all, as Joe Biden would put it, fucking malarkey. But it's what they believe nonetheless.
My law says, or the state law for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, says that you can't travel on a vehicle without a registration plate on there, so you're going to get stopped, and it's going to be this hassle every single time. If you don't want to put a registration plate on, that's perfectly fine. That's going to be your choice. I can't force you to do it, nor am I going to try to force you to do it. Just understand that you're going to get stopped all of the time if that's the case.
They've been behind me before. They veered off. I've had police.
I can't speak for anyone else other than me, and the crew of gentlemen that you see standing here today, I'm the one that's in charge of them, so I have to take accountability for them, which is why I'm the one that's speaking to you. And I'm here to make sure that none of them are going to harm you, and I'm not going to have your rights, as far as what the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania says, violated while we're standing here, which means none of these guys are going to drag you out the car and beat you or take your property if we don't have to. We're going to work with you the most that we can, as long as we keep this line of communication and this cooperation open with both of us. Okay?
Right.
All right, sir. So the name that you provided on your I don't know what you guys call it, so you're gonna have to kind of bear with me because with it. I'll call it an identification card, but the card that you provided, Officer Chacon, is your correct name, and the address that's on there is the correct address where you would receive mail if I were mailing.
Yes, that's my mailing location. Yes.
Okay.
And you said you don't have insurance at all
Huh?
for the vehicle. You don't have insurance.
I can mail it in.
So if you got into an accident like tonight, what would you give the other driver to exchange information?
What do you mean? What would I give him?
If you got into
I would give
an
him my
accident-
phone number if I didn't have it on me, and then
Right. Well, they would need your insurance information.
well, they can get it later. Like I would
Who's it through?
definitely.
Like what company?
I'm not even sure if it's. I'm not even sure. I would. I mean, when he
State
gives me.
Farm, Erie.
I don't want to give you the wrong one. I'm not even
But
sure.
you do have insurance though.
Yeah.
Okay, because when I asked you before, you said no.
I didn't say no. I said I can mail it in to you, and you was like, I don't even know what you said. I said I can mail it in. That's all I said.
Okay. Because I would need a copy of that.
Right. I can mail it in.
Okay. And you don't have any registration for the vehicle.
No, I wouldn't register it because I'm not conducting commercial activity. You know.
All right, let's sit tight for me, okay?
Alrighty, man.
All right, sir. So just a couple more questions, and I'm going to have you.
There's nothing
Go
funny
your way,
about the
okay.
tools of capitalism.
Shamrock Star, thanks for gifting a sub. Appreciate that.
Who did you trade, or what state did you trade federal currency for this vehicle? Was it in Pennsylvania?
No. I'm not even. I can't even recall right now. I don't know. Was it?
I would remember what state I
can't even
bought my
recall right now.
car in.
You don't remember?
No. I'm trying to remember the guy's name.
Were you living in another state before?
Yes, I lived in a few. I didn't live in a different state, but I domiciled in Texas. But
Is that where you were born?
no.
No.
Yeah, I can't even recall right now.
Where were you born at?
Where was I born?
Were you born in the United States?
No,
You weren't?
no.
Another country?
United States is a federal corporation.
Okay.
The United States Code of Law, Title 28,
So
Section
you weren't born in
3002,
the federal
15A.
corporation?
It says United States is not defined as a federal corporation. So I know I was not. I have a bad toothache. Like I got a dentist appointment tomorrow. That's why I'm
Hello.
like kinda,
Oh, really cute lipstick.
like I'm not even dead serious.
Baja Blast has been gone all day, and I missed her.
Did you miss me?
Mm-hmm. Hi.
Hi.
How was it? How was your drive and everything?
It was okay. Only almost got killed once.
Oh, God. I'm glad it was almost.
Yeah. Just some crazy lady that doesn't know how to drive.
I'm just trying to figure out what
Hello, everyone.
name was given to you when you were born.
When I was, what do you mean?
When you were born, what name
me
did
do.
your parents give you?
Michael? What's on that thing?
Where did you get this from?
The Moorish nation state.
There is no Moorish nation state. It doesn't exist. You've been scammed. Someone sold you a piece of paper that said the word registration on it, and you believe that it counts as a registration.
Grib.
'Cause I've
people.
I've never seen this before. That's why I'm asking. This is the first time I've seen it.
Yes, I understand that.
You've never been stopped or anything before? You've never been arrested for anything?
No, I don't.
No.
Nah, I've been stopped, but I've never been arrested at all.
All right, well, I'm going to give this back to you. I'll let you travel to wherever you're going.
That's where
But you will be receiving a bunch of citations for the moving violations in this Commonwealth.
Well, that's fine. We can go to
So
federal court and whatever.
Where do you reside right now?
That's my mailing location.
Where's your domicile?
Where's my domicile?
Yeah.
North America.
Wait a minute. Didn't you? Well, no, you said the United States was a federal corporation. So apparently your domicile is in North America, though, which is still like an arbitrary designation, right? So why do you consider that designation to be okay to say, but not, you know, your city or state or county or specific address? All of these things are more or less arbitrarily designated by human beings as to identify location, but North America's okay, but your actual address isn't, even though people understand where it is when you say your address.
That's on Spalding Street?
That's my mailing location. Yes, that's my mailing location.
But you don't stay there?
No.
You just get
I
your
do
mail?
not. I do not live there. No, I do not.
Where do you live?
I live in my body. I know it sounds.
This guy was just asked where did he live. Guess what he said?
A house.
My body.
Stupid. I'm not trying to be.
If that's how this works, I would like a change of residence, please. Easier than transition. I'll just move out of this body into another one. I'll find some non-transitions trans man and we can just swap.
Funny or anything, but I am a human being. I do live in my body. I don't live in a house.
Where do you sleep at night?
Depends. It depends.
You don't stay in one spot?
Nah, I don't stay at one spot.
Well, where are you going right now?
Right now, I'm going down the street right here to my.
Well, that's the end of that one, I guess. I hope that guy learns, because those cops are very, very patient, which is good, you know? How about this one? This guy's gonna say, I charge $1 for every minute I'm being detained. That's not gonna work out for you.
What is your name?
Ooh, he's one of the ones wearing the fez. I do like fezes. It makes it more festive. And also might be protective if they smash the window in.
So that's a Farovic.
Officer who?
That's a Farovic from the 413.
What's your badge number and what?
21223.
And what's your nationality?
Excuse me?
What's
I'm
your
American.
nationality? You're American.
Yes.
How can you be American and you took an oath?
Boss.
I'm gonna turn my car off. Get your shift commander. Cause every second that you have me here, I'm charging you a minute for the second.
Okay.
That's not how anything works. You can't just have a cop come up and you go, I'm charging you for this interaction. The cop's under an investigation, which a traffic stop is an investigation. They have the right to do that. You can't charge them.
Get your shift commander.
Alright, you got it.
I won't say anything else. Get your shift commander, please. I told you I'm driving. And right now, y'all trying to intimidate me to provide something I don't lawfully have to. I'm not driving, I'm traveling. I'm not driving, I am
I have a feeling this one's gonna go really bad for these guys because they're being more forceful than the previous individual. I also don't know anything about this cop, though he is a cop, so...
traveling. Get your shift commander. I will not say another word.
One crime center. Show me on a car stop on Lafayette and Menida.
Every minute that you have me detained here, I will be charging you $1 a minute.
That's pretty cheap. That's not too bad. I think even, like, phone psychics charge more than that. That's not too bad. The Stellar Sea Cow, with 25 bits, says, I'm thinking about that woman who told her husband not to do this shit when he was doing this. with the baby in the car in front of their house. Hope that queen is having a good day. Yeah, I hope she dumped him. That guy is a weirdo.
$1 a second, actually.
Oh, now it's $1 a second. That's some inflation right there. That's 60 times the price. That's pretty good. It almost feels like a bargain now that you were getting charged $1 a minute before.
Do not place your hands on my private vehicle.
I know, but I still need your license.
I am not driving. I told you I am traveling.
Well, you're operating a vehicle.
1 second, I gotta check something. Okay, sorry, we're just figuring out Baja Blast now. We're figuring what to do for dinner. I think we're gonna get some Uno's pizza, which sounds good. Some deep dish.
I am not operating a vehicle. Well, I'm not a member of your society. I told you that. Get your shift.
I don't live in a society. Joker blows his brains out in Minecraft off screen.
Commander, please, because right now you're trying to intimidate me to provide something that I don't have to provide.
I am going to bring the shift commander in.
Please do. I told you I'm an American national. I'm not a member of your society.
If you are an American national, you are inherently a member of that society. You are a member of whatever society of the land that you reside in, whether you want to or not. The social contract is not a literal contract that gets laid out in front of you when you were born and you go, yes, I consent to be in this society, right? You're a part of it whether you want to or not. I'm sorry, I get it. I'm not the biggest fan of American society sometimes, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm a part of it, right?
You stopping me, giving me a courtesy, saying that my lights were off? Okay. I didn't know.
Without lights on right now.
I didn't know that.
Well, now you know.
I didn't know. I'm not driving. I just told you I'm not. I told you I'm not driving. I told you I'm traveling. And you keep saying that I'm driving. Right now, you're trying to intimidate me to provide something I don't legally have to provide.
You do. You do have to provide your information to the police.
You're not driving.
What is? I'm traveling. That's correct.
Okay, sir. Give us a second.
What's your name?
Officer Ramirez.
Officer Ramirez. Yeah. What's your badge number? And
69, sir.
And what's your nationality?
The nationality of the police officer that's arresting you has no bearing on anything. You can assume if it's in the United States that the police officer's nationality is they're American, right? Or they've immigrated, you know, and they're naturalized U.S. citizens, you know? Like, what? Why do you think the nationality of the cop who's arresting you matters?
Thank you.
From the Caribbean.
The Caribbean, huh? So you can't bring your law over here then? Am I waiting for your shift, Commander?
Yo. Yo.
Just vaping and breaking the law. Feel ya
So
on that
I'm being
one.
illegally detained by 2 officers?
You're not being illegally detained. You're fine. This is a traffic stop. This isn't illegal.
Detectives? They still trying to intimidate me to provide some type of identification, and I don't have to because I'm not a member of this society and I'm not driving.
Okay, you're in a vehicle that's being driven. I guess I don't see if you're in the driver's seat or not. I don't know if the camera's like been flipped. It looks like you're in the passenger seat. But regardless, you are in a car that is being driven, even if you are not the driver, you're a passenger. It's weird. I'm not actually sure about the legality of having the officers ask for your ID if you're not driving. I'm not sure about the legality of that. Let's see. It might depend on the state. Can a cop ask for a passenger's ID? But how about other situations? Can an officer ask a passenger for ID when it appears there is no reason for the request? In the U.S. Court of Appeals case, Stufflebeam versus Harris, ooh, Stufflebeam's a cool name, the court concluded that an officer can request ID from a passenger, but if the officer has no reason to contact the passenger regarding any sort of investigation, the passenger is not required to provide identification. So it basically depends upon the context. I don't know what was happening prior to this interaction that would cause the cop to ask for an ID from a passenger if indeed he is a passenger.
I got you, sir. And just to let you know, you're also being recorded as well, all right?
Okay, that's cool.
Oh, he's
You
not
too.
vaping. He's straight up old school, smoking a real cigarette.
This is my evidence, and this is my weapon. Just like you have a bunch of weapons and you're trying to intimidate me to provide
I was
something.
trying to intimidate you.
Yes,
bro.
you are.
I simply asked you for
That's
your driver's license.
I'm not driving. I told you that. I don't have a contract with the DMV. Please.
Driving means you are traveling in a motor vehicle. A car is a motor vehicle. You're moving in it. You are driving if you are operating it, and you are a passenger in the act of the person driving the vehicle if you're moving in that vehicle.
Get your shift commander. Okay, so right now I'm waiting for my shift commander. For their shift commander. That's what I'm waiting for.
Sir.
Considering he's not, it doesn't look like he's talking to anyone else in the car, at least to what I can see. I'm guessing he is in fact operating the vehicle, and that either this is in a place where he's driving on the opposite side of the road, but I don't think so. I think this is in America. I think the camera might just be like mirrored. So even though it looks like it's the passenger side, it's probably actually the driver's side.
We told you a couple of times to provide your license.
I'm not driving. I'm not driving. I told you that. I'm not driving. Right now, this is illegal what you're doing.
I'm gonna tell you
I'm
one
charging
more time,
you
sir.
$1
We're gonna tell you
for
one more
every
time.
second.
I do not like the idea of plainclothes cops, like, ever. I always think that's a really, really bad idea, unless they're literally, like, in the middle of an undercover sting. But, like, why are you just having cops hiding around places, waiting for people to commit crimes?
And that you're detaining me, sir.
Yeah, we like
Every
I said,
second that you're detaining me.
All right, take your seatbelt and step out of the vehicle, sir.
I am not stepping out of
You're not
anything.
providing my
Oh,
Get
he's
your
gonna
shit-
his window smashed. This might be a smashy window one.
Commander.
Sir,
Get your shift commander.
like I said, all right.
Get your shift commander.
I'm still giving
You're
you all-
threatening me. You're trying to intimidate me to provide a driver's license when I'm traveling. Now, what you're supposed to do is ask me for proof of identification. You haven't did so.
Boss, traveling and driving the vehicle is
Someone called the grammar police, am I right?
the same thing.
It is not the same thing. I'm an indigenous to this land. I have the right to travel from point A to point B. There's no crime that was committed. There's no injured party. There's no injured party.
That's not how things work. Some sovereign citizens, and again, this bleeds over into Moorish citizens as they are a subset of sovereign citizens, believe that in order for there to be a crime, there needs to be a direct victim. E.g., hey, I stole your purse. You are a victim because you no longer have the goods and valuables of the purse that I stole, right? That's an example of a victim in a crime. So they believe that things that are like statutes and laws that say, like, you need a driver's license, you need a registration, you need blah, 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 blah. They believe that because there is no physical victim, that there is no crime, and therefore it cannot be against the law. They are, of course, wrong. That's not how the law works. You have plenty of laws where they basically designate the state as a victim, and that is how a lot of the law in this country works. Like, if you are driving around without a license, the state has considered that an infraction because that's one of the statutes that you need to have a license. So if you're looking for, like, a direct victim, I guess you could say the state, but that's getting into sort of the philosophy of law and how it actually, like, functions in terms of how you come up with it, but that's pretty irrelevant to the actual functioning of the law, unless you're a judge making a decision on it, right? The fact is, you're being pulled over for breaking the law. Regardless of why that reason is, you've broken the law. You gotta do what you gotta do.
And then we have this other detective over here circling the vehicle. Do not reach your hand in this vehicle, because I'm telling you, I will put a lien on your bond.
A lien
Okay.
on your bond. That's another charge. Sovereign citizens and Moorish citizens will file liens. And I guess theoretically, anyone can file a lien on anyone, right? But it's a felony to file a lien on someone when you don't have the legal right to do so, because you're effectively stealing from them, right? That's a felony.
You're trying to intimidate me to do something.
And a lot of sovereigns go to jail for that.
Then I don't have to do.
Sir, one more time.
Has anyone ever done a skit where it's a sovereign citizen arguing with like an Oblivion NPC guard? Maybe that's a little niche, but I want to see that sketch.
To provide your license.
I'm not
Stop!
driving.
You have violated the
I'm
law.
not driving.
Excuse me. Who is the victim in this crime?
You're not driving?
I'm not driving. I'm traveling.
You got identification, boss?
I have my Moorish American national ID. Yes.
Can you give it to me?
Yeah, you can have that. I'm an American national. What paperwork? I don't have to provide that. I don't have to provide that. I'm not a member of your society. This is a private...
Wouldn't that be nice if that's how it worked? Your tax bill comes due and you're just like, I'm not a member of this society. That's not how it works, bud. Sorry. We live in a society. Memes aside, it is true. And when you're in a society, you gotta abide by the laws of that society. We fortunately live in a democracy, at least a representative democracy, and that means if you disagree with the laws of the land in which you live and the society within which you reside, then you can vote for people who will go and change the policies and laws to better fit society's ideals and beliefs about what should be and shouldn't be against the law, right? But you're not gonna be able to, while being stopped by a cop, just say, I'm not a member of society. It's not how anything works. It's like you're playing a game of tag as a kid, and you're like, you're about to get tagged, and you're like, no tagsies. I actually have immunity in this area. Like, you can't just make up your own rules because you don't like them.
Vessel.
Well, you still need to provide...
This is... I don't have to provide...
Am I gonna do Chud Watch? I did Chud Watch yesterday. Chud Watch was yesterday. I'm doing Chud Watch. I will have a concrete schedule starting next week, by the way. I'm doing Chud Watch Mondays and Fridays. Tuesdays are Tinfoil Tuesdays, where we do conspiracy debunks. Wednesdays are going to be Wheel Wednesdays, where it's going to be a wheel, and we're going to do all sorts of videos. Thursdays are going to be called, I think, Throwaway Thursdays. We're just going to be doing whatever I want to do that day. And again, like I said, Friday will be... Chud Watch, and then Saturday will be Sovereign Citizen Saturday, and then Sundays occasionally we'll do Science Sunday, where Baha and I will discuss certain science topics, or more or less she'll be discussing them and I'll be moving the conversation forward because I'm just an asshole on the internet who does this for a living, and she is the actual, fourth-year PhD candidate in biology, so.
Provide anything. I just was nice by giving you that. I didn't have to give you that. Now please get your shift commander. Get your shift commander, please. And we're going live on this, too.
All right, boss.
I'm going to put a lien on your bonds.
Okay.
Yeah, Monday we'll cover the rest of the John Doyle video that I started earlier in the week. Someone was bugging me about it on Twitter. They're like, John Doyle debunked all the points, all the claims of systematic racism. And I was just like, yeah, sure, bud. Doubt.
Every second that I'm here, I'm charging you $1.
Lien on their bonds. Basically, they believe that all police officers have some sort of insurance that they call a bond, and that they think they can put a lien on it, meaning they think they can charge from their insurance account because they are stopping them in traffic. Of course, if you try and file a lien against a police officer without the right to do so, which of course he does not have the right to do so, that's a felony. You're gonna go to prison.
For me being detained. Okay, what are you looking for? Who are you? Who are you?
Who are you?
Who are you?
Hey, who is this kid? What's he gonna do?
Who are
hey,
you?
I'm not throwing away
Can you please
my
identify
shot.
yourself?
Officer Malavet,
What's your badge number and what's your nationality?
1181.
What's your
I
name?
don't have to tell you my nationality.
So what are you doing here with the...
Yeah, the cops are supposed to give you, like, their name and their badge number. If you ask for it, they are not required to give you their nationality, if that needs to be said.
The lights in my eyes. You're not going to tell me your nationality, but you can't bring your law to me then. You can't bring your law...
What kind of nationality are you looking for, boss?
First of all, if you're an American, you can't be, because you forfeit that when you took an oath.
Took an oath for what?
To become a police officer.
Okay, and what-
You're committing treason because you're enforcing corporate policy right now.
That's not how that works.
You're not enforcing the law of the land.
Treason is like working with a foreign government to undermine the integrity or laws of the United States, right? It would be like colluding with Russia to interfere with an election. Like, that would be treason, right? Not being a cop. That has nothing to do with treason.
Which is the Constitution.
Okay, boss.
So it's treason then.
Sir, you have a license, yes or no?
And this is your name over here, boss? In the back of the card?
That's my title.
Jamal,
Jamil.
Jamil, Rasul, Bey,
That's correct. I'm an American national.
an American national.
That's correct. I'm not a part or a member of your society. I'm being illegally detained.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Going back to the reason of the car stop, all right?
My lights was off.
The vehicle, sir, you're driving with all
Daddy
lights.
Sume says, oh shoot, I actually clicked on the wrong thing. Daddy Sume says, with 10 bits, the federal government is in collusion with Britain. The bar is the British. It's in the name. Q confirmed. John Delancey confirmed. Funny. There are definitely sovereign citizens who think that way. They think that anyone who's a lawyer is no longer a citizen because they think that the Bar Association is somehow tied to British royalty, and therefore, if you accept a title, that of Esquire from the Bar Association by becoming a lawyer, then you have forfeited your U.S. citizenship. Which isn't even a thing. That was going to be a constitutional amendment at one point, because I guess this was an issue that was big enough for people to give a shit. This idea that if you accept a title from a foreign government or any emoluments in your United States citizenship will be revoked. That was a amendment that was never ratified, so it's not even law, but sovereign citizens will quote it as if it is, and then tie it to, again, people passing the bar exam and becoming a lawyer and saying, that's a foreign emolument or title. You no longer are a U.S. citizen. It's very ridiculous. What's this? Someone linked me this. Oh, they threw it on the crowd. Yeah, funny.
And also, you don't have mirrors on
They
both
were
sides,
stolen
so-
today. I filed the report. They were stolen today. I filed the report. My mechanic is not available for the weekend. I have to wait until Monday.
All right, that's perfect, all right? So, like I said, you still driving with...
I'm not driving. You keep saying I'm driving. I keep telling you I am traveling.
You're traveling. So you're traveling without the light.
Okay, that's not a crime.
It is.
It's an infraction, sir.
That's not a crime.
It's
It
an
is.
infraction.
That's not a
And for that
crime.
reason,
That's
you
not a
gotta provide
crime.
your
That
license.
no, I don't. That's not a crime. Get your shift commander.
I think often stuff like that are technically considered civil infractions, but, like, that's still a law, right? Just because it's not a criminal offense, which is slightly different. I say slightly. It is different. It's still a law, right? Civil infractions can still be laws.
You're still trying to intimidate me to provide something I don't have to. I am not driving. Get your shift commander. You pulled me over because my lights were out. Okay, I'll turn them on. They know what they doing is.
Daddy Sume, if this is a Rickroll, you're getting timed out. Hold on, I gotta time out Daddy Sume. Where the fuck did he go? God damn it. It is a cool Rickroll. Oh, good. Thank you for timing out Daddy Sume. That's what you get, goddammit. Yeah. At least it's that one. But you've used that one before, so it's not even original, you know?
It's wrong and it's illegal. They're enforcing corporate policy right now. I already told them I'm an American national. Get me your shift commander. I'm not arguing. What I'm doing is asserting my rights. My indigenous rights to this land. This is my land. What's going on here?
If a mod Rickrolls me, you're getting unmodded. Period.
Where's the shift commander? I got 3 patrol cars on me. They still denying to give me the shift commander. What was your name again?
Officer Ramirez.
Officer Ramirez. Is your shift commander on his way?
Sir, you're not gonna provide the...
I told you I'm not driving. You're still trying to intimidate me and
You're
use
driving.
TVC for me to provide you something I don't have to provide you with.
The camera's definitely flipped, by the way, because the cop has an S on his hat and it's backwards. So it is
TDC,
mirrored.
threat, duress, and corrosion. You're trying to intimidate me, and you have weapons on your waist. Officer, Detective Ramirez, you know what you're doing is wrong. You know it. I just told you I'm not driving, and you're still detaining me. But you guys will receive some paperwork. Trust me. You will. Every second, at your own risk. Do you guys have a warrant? You guys
don't need
have
a
a
warrant
warrant
for a
signed by a
traffic
federal
stop.
judge? If not, why am I here? Okay. I'm gonna be quiet too now. So I am still here, being illegally detained. I told these guys that I wasn't driving, I'm traveling, and they're still detaining me. I asked for their shift commander, and they're refusing. They're trying to conduct business with me, but they're doing it wrongly.
Wrongly?
There's no injured party.
Society is the injured party. That's how some of these laws work. The government steps in and is the role of the society in these, like, lawsuits that is harmed. So if you're driving without a license, it is the general population at large that is being harmed by you operating on public roads without proof that you can do so safely. So the government steps in and is basically, in this case, is almost like a straw man that stands in for the populace at large. But that's completely legal and reasonable. You know? Legal fictions exist for a reason. Like, legal entities and fake peoples, in the sense of, like, governments and corporations, these things exist for a reason, right? These things exist because the law wouldn't work and society couldn't function if some of these things didn't work the way they do. That doesn't make how we look at everything in this case great. Look at Citizens United, but there's a reason that corporations exist as their own entity separate from those that constitute that it is made of, right? Like, the CEOs of a company are not the company. The company is its own thing.
Where's the injured party at? So, Detective Ramirez, you're from the Caribbean, you said, huh? So how can you bring your law to America?
He's operating as an American police officer and enforcing American law. He didn't bring law from the Caribbean and then apply it here. I'm trying to think of an Alexander Hamilton joke, but I can't think of one.
You're acting as a tax informant agent for the IRS right now. That's
no. No.
That's what you're doing. Committing treason.
Welcome back, Daddy Sume. I hope you learned your lesson, but I doubt it. In this society, Rickrolls are a criminal action. You live in a society.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Daddy Sume with 50 bits, never. I'll consider those bits your fine that you have paid.
Detaining me from
victimless crime. I am the victim. I am the victim. He wasn't rickrolling, he was traveling. Good defense.
I'm an indigenous to this land. It's my God-given right to travel without being infringed.
Careless Whiskers, every time I see your name, it makes me get that song stuck in my head. I'm never gonna dance again. Guilty feet have got no rhythm. And I'm never gonna dance again the way I danced with you. Yeah, there's only 4 minutes left, and then we'll move on.
Still being detained, waiting for the shift commander. I provided my identification. They still haven't gave it back to me. I was pulled over because I didn't have my lights on. But that's still not a crime.
It is. If operating a vehicle in the dark without your lights on is a crime in your area, if it's an infraction, it is a crime.
Because it's no injured party.
Is tomorrow cringe? I think I'm taking tomorrow off. Because I gotta mow my lawn and do some other stuff, so. Tomorrow's probably my housework day, and then next Thursday will probably be the next cringe stream.
That I'm being detained, I'm charging $1. $1.
Dead air.
There's nothing funny about the tools of capitalism.
Daddy Sumo with 10 bits. Night all. Love you, Hannah. Thanks. Thanks for coming to the stream. I hope you have a good night.
Headlights, all right?
No problem. You guys have a great day.
You too.
Drive safely.
I'm not available.
We continue this morning with some breaking news into the WIS studios. The Sumter Sheriff's Office is looking for Demetrius Alexander Brown, the man you see right behind me. He's considered armed and extremely dangerous. He is wanted in reference to that deadly shooting that happened in Sumter on Saturday. Deputies responded to the call of a shooting. Happened at Auto Doctors, that's located at 56 South Pike Road East in Sumter County. And when deputies got there, they say they found a man who had an apparent gunshot wound. He's been identified by officials as 34-year-old Charmaine Pack of Sumter. Pack was taken to a hospital where he was pronounced dead. Witnesses at that scene said the shooter drove up. They didn't hear an argument, but moments later they heard at least one gunshot and the shooter ran off. We're going to go ahead and show you that picture one more time. Deputies looking for this man, Demetrius.
Apparently got caught.
We have breaking news just into WIS. U.S. Marshals say they have captured a man in connection to a deadly shooting in Sumter County last weekend. Deputies say Demetrius Brown was caught in Jacksonville, Florida. They believe he is responsible for the deadly shooting.
People, and that's why we making them.
Benjamin, George, and Thomas are not America's founding fathers. Listen, I'm the pimp who built this shit in trust. At every chance, I'm unzipping my pants so I can pour out my penis and piss in your mouth. I'm nasty like that. You are my puppet, and I got you held up by my strings. Keep that gun at your temple. It's simple. I'm the pimp who built this, and I put drug dealers on corners so they can make my money, and I put white collars in corner offices so they can make my money. And while you're out here doing 9 to 5, I'm working overtime to make sure the hungry never get fed, to make sure them colored kids never go to college. Keep that knowledge shit out their head. I'm bad. Lucifer ain't got a damn thing on me. I fuck.
Woo! That is some vitriolic shit. I don't even necessarily disagree. I feel in terms of messaging, that's not the most helpful, though. Why is it a bop? It's because it's the Lonely Island, and their shit is the best. I love the Lonely Island. They're very funny.
So, the unmarked cop car, they have many here in their establishment, in their police, station here, Needles, California. Right here. This is the police station. And this right here is a unmarked cop car, as they state, and they use this unlawfully.
Is it a 10-year-old sovereign? I think it's just a lady.
Over because you feel frightened and scared. Cars, public property, they can drivers. If you house, you are not driving your car. If you are traveling, period. If you are not making money, you do not need a driver's license.
Untrue.
not touch me.
That's right,
Grab my,
capitalistic propaganda.
do not touch me. Grab my stuff. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. You're under arrest. I am not.
Aluru Zest, thanks for following. Welcome to the stream.
Excuse me. No. Excuse me. Geronimo Bay. I came into a
Geronimo Bay is here on behalf of the Murphy matter.
Honestly, though, if your weird, like, cult of pseudo-legal beliefs is gonna have a dress code, you could do worse than Fez's. It certainly is a look. It gives a vibe, you know? It's striking. If I ever start a cult, I think I'm gonna go with Fez's. I think that's a good way to go.
We came in a special appearance on the Murphy matter.
Although I guess the Shriners sort of have that covered too. Whatever. What are they gonna do? Chase me in their tiny little cars? Try it, Shriners!
And he is attempting...
Is that a joke people get, or is that too niche? Leftist, thank you for following.
Judge is abandoned ship.
Judge is abandoned ship. Excuse me. Judge is
no
abandoned
warrant.
ship. That we are here on special appropriate persona on the Murphy matter.
And he has
abandoned ship. Do not.
He has proof that he is not Andre Murphy.
Do not touch me.
He's not Andre. He's not Andre Murphy.
Cops overdo it.
Bad numbers
yes,
and
we
everything.
clearly need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cops
Geronimo,
to take
don't
this
resist.
guy down.
Geronimo, don't
1, 2,
resist.
3, 4, 5, 6. Jesus. Very necessary, guys. God damn.
It's not your property to touch, and I can definitely videotape.
He has a choke move on me.
Choke move. He's choking him. Choking him. Which officer? Which policy enforcer? Don't touch me, y'all. Have your badge. I will have your badge. I am able to record it. It's being recorded. Anybody touch me? I am a private American national. I'm a private American national. You're on my property. This courtroom is on my property.
Jesus Christ. I hate the videos where everyone's an asshole. That's no fun, right?
A trial for a suspected bank robber got underway.
Get anything juicy from the Doyle chat? You mean the comments on the video, on my Doyle video, the most recent one? On my YouTube channel? I don't know, let me see. John Doyle is using a child murderer as a political prop, which I did recently. Oh, no, that's a pretty good ratio. I want to be a douche and like my own video. Yeah. Not so far, but I think I removed some comments that were just being, you know, Doyle apologists, and I'm not about that noise. I don't care. I really don't. I'm not here to have a fucking conversation with a bunch of assholes. You know, here's this video if you want to check it out sometime. I made my point in the video, and if you disagree, that's fine. I don't care.
Superior Court today, but it looks like the jury in the case will never have a chance to see the defendant. Tyree Wortham says...
Oh, his private chat. No, I haven't looked at it yet. I think tomorrow on my day off I'm going to start doing that.
State laws don't apply to him and is refusing to come to court or allow a public defender to represent him. In a story you'll only see on KXLY4, Jeff Humphrey details Wortham's alleged crimes and his ill-fated legal strategy.
Aaron Wortham is literally turning his back on the criminal justice system, saying that he's a sovereign individual and that the state doesn't have any jurisdiction to prosecute him. And
Days off don't usually require work. I'm trying to build my Twitch and my YouTube, which is going to involve lots and lots of days of work with no real days off entirely for a long period of time. And that's fine. I understand that. Jake did the same thing when he was building his channel, and he has like 9,000 followers on Twitch now, you know? So once I get to that level, then I'll get to take a breather.
So now in a very rare move, Spokane Superior Court is trying him in absentia.
Please rise.
Tyree Wortham elected not to stand up when his judge entered the courtroom this morning while
Oh, that's not a good call. Even if you don't respect the court, even if you don't respect the judge, not gonna help you to piss him off, right?
Elections officers looked on. Wortham made it clear he was not going to participate in his trial.
I am not here by consent. The court doesn't have federal jurisdiction to hear this matter.
Wortham is suspected of knocking off a pair of Garland District banks in late 2013 and early 2014. He thinks because robbing a bank is a
Careless Whiskers says, I wanted to start a Twitch, then realized I had nothing anyone would want to hear me say. Hey, I feel the same way about me, but I just open my mouth and stuff comes out. Doesn't help in real life, but apparently enough of the random things that come out of my face hole, the main one, people want to listen to, because here we are. You'd be surprised. If you just can keep your mouth running long enough, people will typically listen, even if it's bullshit.
Federal crime, only the federal government can prosecute him. This morning, he asked Judge John Cooney to dismiss the charges against him.
The court will deny your motion to dismiss and deny your motion to remove to federal court. As far as trial is concerned, are you ready to proceed?
I'm not participating in this trial.
And so...
You don't have the right to not participate in a trial when you've been charged with a crime. That's not how it works. Again, I don't understand what these people think the court system is and what the legal system is and what society is. To an extent, everything in society that's part of sort of our social contract involving our laws and governance, yeah, it's kind of coercive, but that's kind of how all society works, right? We're a social species, and socialization involves conforming people to the laws of the society that people in the society agree are right. So you don't have to consent to your trial. If that were the case, no one would be in prison, unless that's their kink. In which case, we'd basically have federally funded kink jailhouses, which, if anyone's in the porn industry, I guess give me a call. I'll write you a screenplay. How hard is it to write a porn screenplay? Oh, hello, corrections officer Wang. I seem to have lost my clothing. Will you help me find them? And then you just write in parentheses, and then they bone. Screenplay by Hannah.
Unless Wortham changes his mind, his jury will hear the case.
Why this gotta make my hometown look bad, says PK the Lost.
Jurors agree this is a photo of Wortham before he put on a mask and allegedly robbed one of those banks.
I don't know what to say. I mean, that's not me. I mean, what do you? I don't know what else, you know, people want me
a cop in porn still bad. The next scene will be Corrections Officer Wang. Well, this is why we'll get Officer Wang on the side of the audience. Officer Wang will see another corrections officer exhibiting far too much use of force with an inmate, and then he'll whistle blow on the entire organization. And only the first 15 minutes of the movie are gratuitous, like, PIV sex scenes. The rest is going to be a character study drama about a corrections officer named Wang fighting the system. You gotta entertain yourself during your refractory period.
Wortham has done a lot of research and feels that as an indigenous person, he has certain rights provided to him in a United Nations treaty that prevents him from being prosecuted. Wortham thinks that treaty trumps the U.S. Constitution.
I just want to bring it to their attention that they're committing treason. You know, everybody is not a United States citizen. We have other options out there where we can be free, and I am one of those free people who is held here captive against my will.
Clearly, Wortham thinks the law is on his side, Aaron, but today a judge disagreed and is taking Wortham to trial with or without him. It may sound like an easy win for the prosecution, but actually the state as well as a judge is going to have to work extra hard to make sure that they do not violate Wortham's rights, trying him in absentia. Otherwise, they're going to end up giving him an avenue for appeal. Reporting live at Spokane Superior Court, Jeff Humphrey, KXLY4.
Found guilty, sentencing hearing.
Consent.
Well, the jury and the judge did not buy that man's argument.
He's still screaming, I'm not here by consent. Correct. That's what being convicted or charged with a crime is. That's the point. You're being held. That's the point.
Last time, convicting him of robbing 2 North Spokane.
It wouldn't exactly be a punishment for your crime if you just got to decide whether or not you want to stay at the jail, right?
Banks. Today, the man who says that our state has no jurisdiction over him learned that he will spend 72 years in prison. Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Nadine Woodward. Tyree Wortham did not take part in his own trial, saying that he's a sovereign citizen and the court can't prosecute him. But today, Judge John Cooney sentenced Wortham for the crime. KXY4's Grace Ditzler working for you. She is at the courthouse tonight. And Grace, he has been so defiant. How did he handle his day in court?
Nadine, Wortham tried to change the conversation from him robbing...
Yeah, what was the charges? Was it just robbery? Because 70 years seems like crazy for robbery. Was it armed robbery? I can maybe see that if he's actively threatening people's lives with a loaded gun. But I don't know. I guess I need to hear more about it. And did anyone get killed? I wasn't paying attention during the first part, I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking about my fake porn script.
At gunpoint to his
Careless Whiskers, thanks for gifting a sub.
Because he claims that he's no longer a U.S. citizen. But that argument didn't work out in his favor.
Please rise.
Wortham continued to defy the court today by refusing
Must be a fairly old story. Nadine Woodworth is our mayor now.
Multiple times.
The contract claim has nothing to do with the criminal sentencing. So
It does, because...
Let him finish, sir.
Wortham argued that he has changed his nationality.
Ooh, I have an idea. We're gonna do a spin-off movie. It's gonna be a sovereign citizen in jail, and he's gonna walk in and he's gonna be just like banging someone, and this one's gonna be a gay porn because we gotta be inclusive, and they're gonna be like, "What are you doing? You aren't allowed to fornicate in my prison," and he's gonna lean in close, be like, "We're not fornicating. My penis is traveling." I amuse myself more than is right for a person to.
And therefore, Spokane County doesn't have the authority to try him.
I was not involved in any of this. The reason I haven't participated in the trial is because of my nationality, and it will go against all of my morals to participate in something such fraudulently instituted.
But Judge Cooney didn't entertain his argument, telling Wortham his claims were a civil matter and didn't apply to the criminal sentencing for the armed robberies. Even after hearing painful...
The pseudo-sapien says, "I'm not in prison, I'm in my body, and so is Ted."
testimonies from the people he robbed, Wortham maintained his innocence. He apologized, sort of.
I'm sorry on the behalf of those who have done this to you and the trauma that they have caused. Like I said, I have nothing to do with this whatsoever.
One of those victims, Lori Skillman, wishes Wortham would have taken responsibility.
I was there. I saw him. And not taking responsibility for something that he did, especially the young women behind the counter, pointing guns at them, is wrong.
Wortham says the victim shouldn't be upset with him.
The victim should be mad at the state government for their fraudulent activities. And
I mean, dude, you pointed a loaded gun at them. You can't threaten people's lives and expect them to not be mad at you.
And deceiving you to believe and to think that these crimes are actually crimes.
And he remained confident that everything will eventually work out in his favor.
Whatever sentence you got.
2 counts of armed robbery, 70-something years. Still seems a little high, but hey, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know exactly what goes into all the sentencing and what all the specific crimes were that he was charged with.
Suppose I need is obviously good, is what you guys wanted. This court hasn't provided me with any delegation.
He's not being convicted, so he's traveling to jail.
And in court, Wortham also indicated that he plans to file a lawsuit against Spokane County with that same argument that they didn't have the jurisdiction to try him. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
The Stellar Sea Cow says, okay, so according to him, I can point a gun at him and it's the state's fault. Cool. Yeah, seems, not like a great idea. You know?
Dead air!
Okay, a little bit of a shorter stream today. We haven't even been going for 3 hours, but I'm tired, so I think we're going to call it a day for the stream. Thank you everyone so much for coming. I had a lot of fun today. I'll be back Monday for Chud Watch. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you would like to check out all my past streams and all my stream highlights. They're all put into playlists. They're all very organized. If you want to watch just full streams, they have them. If you want just highlights, we have a playlist for that. If you want a whole Sovereign Citizen playlist, we have that. So on and so forth. So check it out. So, yeah, chat is valid. I'm going to go spend some time with Baja. I think we're going to watch Rocky 4 after we go get some pizza. I'm going to have her watch the Rocky movies. And I think she likes them so far. At least she said she has, so that's good. Gonna go watch Rocky punch a Russian communist. I must break you. Chat is valid. Oh yeah, and the robot. I told her about the robot. I showed her the scene with the robot, which I probably shouldn't have. I probably should have just waited and had her explore and discover the robot on her own time. Is Jeff streaming? If so, I'll raid him. Hold on, let me look. Jeff, what's Jeff doing?
We're a couple of drunk.
Oh yeah, they're doing their Passions view. They watch like the soap opera together, and it's fun. So yeah, sure. Raid, is it real Jeff Holiday? I always forget. Real Jeff Holiday. So enjoy that stream, everyone. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see y'all Monday for Chud Watch. See you next time. Oh wait, I gotta do the raid. It's gonna be awkward for 10 seconds while I have to wait for this. Let me think. Okay, so the next scene in the porno, after he's like, we're not fornicating, I'm traveling into his butthole, he's gonna do a whole thing about, my penis doesn't live in your society. It lives in Ted's mouth. Good night, everyone.